So first we read from the Transcendental Diary by Harisori Prabhu. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatarine. So, we are in Sri Vrindavan Dham. It was especially enlivening to Srila Prabhupada to hear about the distribution of his books in non-English speaking countries. In general, if any translator of my books requires the original manuscripts for his work, he should be supplied them by you. If you can succeed in spreading this movement to every town and village throughout the world, that will be your great credit. Kindly do this, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be pleased. And my Guru Maharaj will be pleased, and I, as their humble servant, will also be pleased. That is our main goal in life, our Swarthagatim. Pusta Krishna Maharaj wrote, resigning as a GBC, he explained that since he can no longer keep the standard, he had decided to leave ISKCON for some time. Hridayananda and Rameshwar have agreed to oversee the affairs of his North-West American zone. Pusta Krishna's fall was not unexpected, and in discussing with Harikesh Swami, Srila Prabhupada pinpointed the cause. He said it was because he made Madhudvija's difficulties a public issue. Prabhupada had wanted to keep it quiet and deal with Madhudvija on his own, but despite his entanglement in illicit activity, Madhudvija was still doing service. Prabhupada said that he had wanted to try to rectify him and keep him in devotional service, but without consultation. Pusta Krishna had advertised the situation, and this was counter to his desire. So, Srila Prabhupada is especially pleased to hear his books being distributed in non-English speaking countries, he is saying. So Srila Prabhupada, he would say, whenever there is a book in new language published, it feels like I'm conquering that land, like a king. So he was happy to see books being translated. His spiritual master requested him to preach in English speaking countries. And even before he came to the US, sometimes he would give lecture in English to an audience who none of them would understand English, because he was trying to fulfill the instruction. Actually, immediately after sannyas, he was asked to give lecture in English. He was fulfilling that's how he started. And so we see now so many books have been translated already in so many different languages. Srila Prabhupada was very happy to see this, even in languages like, some Middle Eastern, all this, Farsi. Yeah, we have books, right, Prabhu, in Farsi? Yeah, we have. Yeah. So I think recently Srimad Bhagavatam also published. Which first? Okay. Yeah. So that's quite a lot. And he's saying here, if you succeed in spreading this movement to every town and village throughout the world, that will be your credit. Just like he was asking Arjun, he was telling Arjun, Krishna was telling Arjun, that all the people in this battlefield have already been killed. You just become my instrument. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that my names will be heard in every town and village on this earth. So he wanted this to happen, it will happen. So the question is if we want to do our part, if you want to become the instrument or not. Right? So it's glorious to be an instrument in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. People want to take part in Krishna's pastime, but this is the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Krishna came 5,000 years ago and he engaged in his pastime for how many years? How many years was Krishna here?
48 years.
That was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 125.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, so 125. But after Krishna went, you could not participate in his Leela. He went, he took everyone with him. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he was here for 48 years.
48, yeah.
But his Leela continues, you can still participate in his pastimes. Right? So because he invited everyone to participate in the pastime. He said, how much can I do? I'm just one person. How much can I do? I want all of you to become gardener. Plant the seed in every town and village. So he wanted all the devotees to take part and everyone should be a guru. He said, Amare agya hai, Amara agya guru hai, tare aides, yare daka tare kaho Krishna upadesh. So every one of us, by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction, we become guru. We share Krishna consciousness according to our capacity. If we try our best, Krishna helps. So it's glorious to be even a small service, whatever we can, we try to participate. It's a glorious movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? And in this way, we are pleasing Prabhupada, we're pleasing all the previous acharyas, we're pleasing the 6 Goswamis. That is pleasing them is our goal of life. And Pushta Krishna Maharaj wrote resigning as GBC, so he did something that Prabhupada did not want. So, sometimes it may happen that some devotees may not be able to follow. We do not make that public. That's what Prabhupada wanted. Because if we make it public, it will be very difficult for that person to come back. The main thing is when a person is at the temple, we make them feel as welcome as possible. So, as welcome as possible, even if the person is, let's say, not following, we try to encourage. It should not be like, oh, you couldn't follow anything, He should not feel like that. Of course, we don't say like that, but he should also not feel, he or she should not feel like that, because it's difficult. The material world is difficult, and Srila Prabhupada acknowledged that not everyone will be able to follow. Of course, he wanted all his disciples to keep his promise, but in a war time, some soldiers will bleed, some will die. So, it's best we encourage devotees whatever they can, we encourage them to do what they can. And by encouragement, they will slowly step up. But we can't shame people to become Krishna conscious. We cannot shame them. Otherwise, they'll get more further away from Krishna. If we shame someone into their weaknesses, they will get more away from Krishna. So we don't want that. We want to encourage. And that's what Prabhupada did here also. He encouraged devotees So if someone was not following properly, he wanted that to be not publicly told, because that person now would be ashamed to come again, you know. It's natural to be ashamed to come when you are when everyone thinks you are fallen or whatever. But actually we are all fallen in a way. It's a hospital. In a hospital, everyone is diseased, right? And one person cannot tell to the other person, oh, you have this disease. We all have this disease. We are in the material world. We all have this disease to some degree or another. Somehow we are fortunate to be here. So it's a hospital. So in a hospital, there is no one who is healthy. The only healthy person in a hospital is the doctor. No, nobody is healthy. So we appreciate each other, whatever a service devotees are doing. So that's it. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 6, text 13. Aniruddha bhavayandra tandre evikara. Adhirudha bhavayandra tandra evikara. मनुष्यरा देह देखी बड़ा चमत्कारा. Adhiruda bhavayandra tandre vikara. मनुष्यरा देह देखी बड़ा चमत्कारा. Adhiruda bhavayandra tandra evikara. Manusyara dehe dekhi bada chamatkara. Adhirudha bhavayandra tandra evikara. Manusyara dehe dekhi bada chamatkara.
Adhirudha bhavayandra tandra evikara.
Adhirudha bhavayandra tandra evikara.
Manusyera dehe dekhi bada chamatkara.
Manusyara dehe dekhi bada chamatkara. Adhirudha bhavayandra tandra evikara.
Manusyara dehe dekhi bada chamatkara.
Manusyara dehe dekhi bada chamatkara. Adhirudha bhava, an ecstasy technically known as adhirudha.
Technically known as Adhirudha.
Yandra, of whom. Tandra, of him. A, this. Vikara, transformation. Manushyera
Manushera
of a human being.
of a human being.
Dehe
They
in the body.
in the body.
Dekhi
Dekhi
I see.
I see.
Bada chamatkar. Very wonderful.
Very wonderful.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya considered the uncommon ecstatic symptoms of Adiruddha Bhav are appearing in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is very wonderful. How are they possible in the body of a human being? Purport. Adiruddha Bhav or Adiruddha Mahabhav is explained in the Ujjwala Nilamani by Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes Rupa Goswami as follows. The loving propensity of the Ashraya, devotee toward the Vishaya, Lord, becomes so ecstatic that even after enjoying the company of the beloved, the devotee feels that his enjoyment is insufficient. At such a time, the lover sees the beloved in different ways. Such a development of ecstasy is called anurag. When anurag reaches its highest limit and becomes perceivable in the body, it is called bhava. When the bodily symptoms are not very distinct, however, the emotional state is still called anuraga, not bhava. When bhava ecstasy is intensified, it is called mahabhava. The symptoms of mahabhava are visible only in the bodies of the eternal associates like the gopis. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest region of ignorance. My teachers opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances at the lotus feet. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadameham Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamascha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadbhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhan Vitamscha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakal Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is the section where Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya he finds Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laying on the temple of Jagannath Puri, and he's in ecstasy. So in the material world people talk about love, right? People say, I love you. I love you. That is one of the most common things people say, I love you. It's very easy to say, I love you. But what is love is explained in our scriptures. Love is, you do not expect anything in return. Right? When you love someone, you do not expect anything in return. And the highest form of love is displayed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his beloved. Love is only possible to Krishna. If we can love someone, but how long will we love someone unconditionally? We can never love someone without any condition. For example, I may love Rohan, but if he does something to me, I won't love him. If he does something nasty to me, I, why should I, Or of course, friendship we tolerate, but at one point, if he does so many nasty things to me, at one point I'll reach my peak and I'll say, I don't want to associate with this guy. Right? So, and similarly, a girl may love a boy, but how unconditional will that be? Uh, they will say, oh, I love you until the end of my life. So for 7 generations, I will keep loving you. But once let's say, for example, a girl loves a boy, and the boy says to the girl, my dear girl, will you love me even if I go with another girl? Will you love me? The girl will say no. So there is condition, But what does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pray? Aslisya va padaratam pinastumam adarshanam marmahatam karotu va yatha tatha va vitadhatu lampato mat prananastu sevana paraha. You may be present before me, or you may make me broken hearted by not being present. You are free to do anything and everything, but you are my Lord unconditionally. So no condition attached. So this love is only possible when you love Krishna, because anyone else in the material world, you love them, they will disappoint you. If you love someone in the material world, they will always disappoint you, because it's never perfect. Srila Prabhupada would sometimes say, I forgot the exact phrase, but he said something like, just depend on Krishna, love Krishna, because he will never let you down. Everyone else in the material world will let you down. We see so much happening in the present day, in family, with parents, with friends. People love them, people exchange loving exchanges, but the expectations are not met, right? So, and then there is frustration, there is quarrel, there is conflict. But when you love Krishna, then Krishna is perfect, then he can reciprocate in the perfect way. So, and in these verses we see the ecstasy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he had this, the highest form of love. So bhava is the stage before prema in the stage of devotional service. So where in the stages, so what is the first stage? Sadhu Sangha. After that, Bhajana Kriya. After that, Anartha Nivritti. And then Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. Nishtha, Ruchi, Bhava, Prema. Forgot one in the middle. Ashakti. Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. So a devotee goes through all these stages. Right, so it's nice to know where these stages, actually Rupa Goswami says we should know, because for example we want to go to Frankfurt, and then while going we see around and we see that, oh, this is not taking me to Frankfurt, then we have to change direction, right? We have now GPS, and it's nice, but previously when people would go to a destination, then they would look around, yeah, am I going to the right place? Right? Rule Prabhu drives often, you know, taking devotees to and fro from airport. So suppose he's going to Frankfurt and he thinks, oh, this is not Frankfurt, then he has to change direction. So similarly, when a devotee is going to serve, our goal is Krishna Prema. That's why we recite in the morning, right? With this, our goal of life is Krishna Prem, we say. So to go to Krishna Prem, we pass through all these stages. Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. So we have to know all the symptoms and all the characteristics of all these levels are described by our acharyas. So our goal is to reach prema, and we should know where we are going, how we are going, what are the obstacles in different stages, what are the dangers, what are the ways we can fall down in different stages. So it's a step-by-step process. So bhava here, so the Lord has Mahabhava. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here is expressing Mahabhava, and Srila Prabhupada writes, this is only possible for the eternal associates like the gopis. So Bharat Maharaj, he was on the stage of Bhava. When he left home to go to the jungle, he was on the stage of Bhava. But still he fell down. It's interesting, huh? You can still fall down from Bhava. Prabhupada writes, he fell down because he didn't have association of devotees. He was living in the jungle and he didn't have association of the devotees. So even from that high level of Bhava, if he neglected his spiritual duties. So what happened to Bharat Maharaj? He became deer. Why was that?
It was connected to deer, always serving deer. At the end of life also he was thinking about where it gone.
Yeah. So imagine if Bharat Maharaj can be attached to deer, what to speak of us? Right? So, yeah, unless we have Mahabhava, we don't stop our daily duties, our daily spiritual duties. So, these are all the symptoms. It's interesting here. Devotee and the Lord, the devotee becomes so ecstatic that even after enjoying the company of the beloved, the devotee feels that his enjoyment is insufficient. I don't know how to relate to this. Anyone has any example in the past times?
I am very weak about this bhava, prema.
Yeah. At such a time, the lover sees the beloved in different ways. Such a development of ecstasy is called anurag. When anurag reaches its highest limit and becomes perceivable in the body, it is called bhava. When the bodily symptoms are not very distinct, however, the emotional state is still called anuraga, not bhava. So what is the difference between anurag and bhav? According to the purport. So when the bodily symptoms are not very distinct, that emotional state is called anurag. But when the bodily symptoms are distinct, it's called bhav. And when this bhava becomes very intense, it's called mahabhava. So three terms we learned today here. Anurag, bhava, mahabhava. Right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was expressing Aniruddha Bhava. So another term again. So what was the first term? Anuraga, Bhava, Mahabhava, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was expressing Aniruddha Bhava. So what is Aniruddha Bhava? Exactly that is not explained. Okay, but I think Aniruddha Bhava is Bhava in this case. Because Prabhupada writes in the purport, Aniruddha Bhava or Aniruddha Mahabhava is explained in Ujjvala Nilamani by Sri Rupa Goswami. The loving propensity of the devotee towards the Lord becomes so ecstatic that even after enjoying the company of the beloved, the devotee feels that his enjoyment is insufficient. At such a time, the lover sees the lover is the beloved in different ways. Okay? So, Anuraga, Bhava, Mahabhava, Aniruddha Bhava. Jai. I'll read few other verses, okay? Text 14. While the Bhattacharya was thinking in this way at his home, all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, headed by Nityananda Prabhu, approached the Simadwar, the entrance door of the temple. So the Bhattacharya could see the ecstatic symptoms in the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was very learned in the Shastras. You could see that this bhava was appearing on the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there are different symptoms, the body shivering, hair standing on end. We in the morning we pray to our Guru and we tell, anybody knows what's the verse? We glorify this ecstatic symptom of the body, the hairs of the body standing on end. Romancha kampa srutaranga bhajo. That means Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nritya Gita Vaditra Madhyan Manasora Sena. So the spiritual masters, when he sees the devotees and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he sees the associates dancing, and the hairs of his body stand on end. Romancha Kampa. Romancha Kampa is like body is shivering and the bodily hairs are standing on end. Romancha Kampa Sutaranga Bhajo Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. So the hairs are standing on end. When we see a ghost, it is said we become very afraid, the hairs stand on end. Have you noticed? When you are afraid, the hairs on the body stand on end. Or when you feel cold or when you shiver. So these are the symptoms. But when you are in Krishna Prema, these symptoms also come. But you have to be very learned to recognize. It's not like anyone who is afraid is in Krishna Prema. Somehow. There are so many other symptoms. The person cries and laughs at the same time. How is that possible? The person is so ecstatic that he does not know what he is feeling. What's happening to me? Am I crying? Am I happy? When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got initiated and he started chanting, people would tell him what has happened to you, and he would say, I think I have become mad. My Guru gave me something, some mantra, and I think I'm now mad, So it's like that. Somehow by chanting we become mad. Mad in a sense, sometimes we become happy, sometimes we become... that's the ecstatic symptom. The hairs on the body stand on end. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he knew all the science. And he knew how to separate who is bluffing also. Sometimes in India especially, we find people exhibit just the ecstatic symptoms without actually going through them. People, They cry, they roll on the ground, and they shout, they laugh, It's just they are showing that they are very highly elevated. So this is a sahajiya mentality. So when we read these symptoms, we know how to see these symptoms in a devotee. And that's how we can recognize someone is a pure devotee also. That is also, that's why it's also explained, everything is explained. It's not that just by showing some symptoms you become pure devotee, but it's a science how these symptoms are displayed in the body of a pure devotee or someone like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the Bhattacharya could recognize this in the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he was learned in the Shastras. So it's important. If we are not learned in the Shastras, we'll get cheated. Right? For example, if I want gold and I go to a goldsmith and then the goldsmith shows me gold, but I don't know what is actual gold, then I'll get cheated. Right? So similarly, when we are in spirituality, if we don't study the Shastras properly, we'll get cheated by various people. Even it is said, before one accepts the Guru, you should test your Guru. How do you test him? By reading the scriptures and knowing what are the qualifications of a Guru. Right? So even if you are in a Vaishnava society, you test your Guru. Not the Diksha Guru, Siksha Guru also, because we want to take shelter of someone who is mature than us. But we don't directly go and surrender, we test the person if they have the symptoms of a qualified spiritual master. Is he or she following his own spiritual master? Do they have the proper character? So all this we find in the Shastras. Yeah.
Like you said, when we approach spiritual master, they should be, or even Siksha or Diksha, they should be more mature than us, right? So, like in case of, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for example, like he also had to accept a spiritual master. So, how was it for him? Because he was Krishna himself. So, how would he go about getting a spiritual master who is mature than himself? How is
Yeah. Yeah, even he is showing by example. That's what Prabhupada taught us, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Krishna himself, but he was in the mood of a devotee. So when devotees would glorify him, he would shut his ear. When devotees would, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya actually wrote few poems glorifying him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He would throw them, he didn't like, because he was in the mood of a devotee. So in the mood of a devotee, he accepted a spiritual master. Even Krishna accepted spiritual master, right? So that is meant to show us also as example. But of course, they are the spiritual masters of the whole world. So in a way, it's like a relationship with a devotee. He accepts qualified devotees who can act as that position for that particular time.
Also, how Krishna and Yashoda,
Yeah.
it's also a role like how Krishna.
Yeah, Krishna accepts a mother, Krishna accepts a father, Krishna accepts a guru. So different relationships with devotees. But at least in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation, he did everything a devotee is meant to do. We can't imitate Krishna, we can do as he is doing, but we can follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was showing how to become a devotee. Before him, nobody showed us how to become devotee. What it is to become a devotee, we didn't know. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and showed this example. So he showed that we accept spiritual master. He showed how to do each and everything. He showed how to chant, what to chant, So we follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyone else would like to add something?
Just wanted to say from that you are reading from people of traveling slightly.
Mhm.
You mentioned even though we should not publicize the people who have done some mistakes. The Prabhupada keep it quiet.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about Vishwamitra. Many people in our community also, like ISKCON also, they just say that an example of fall down of Vishwamitra. And they never say that he will become teacher of Lord Ramchandra. Yes.
Mm.
So that is also very important. So everybody has some fall. But if you appreciate and encourage them, they will be. Otherwise, if people criticize it, then we don't see that Vishwamitra as the master of Lord Ramchandra.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So like, I wanted to add to that point, like about criticizing, right? Someone, like what I've seen is like, how Radhanath Swami Maharaj explained about this. He has a video, how to not find fault in others. It's a video. So he says this, like we should try to glorify when we see a fault in someone. We should try to glorify that devotee. And that devotee automatically, whatever positive is there, positively to glorify the devotee, and then devotee automatically, surrenders more to Krishna. And when there's a mistake or when there's a fault, we just assist them in the form of like we're, like Prabhu, like with as if we are in the position of servant to them. If we see something, they're not doing properly, and we in form of a servant, we try to help them, correct them in a sense like that.
Yeah. Prabhu, you'd like to add anything? Powerful Prabhu? Anything? No.
I have a question. First, ruchi is a taste.
Ruchi is taste. And in this case, it's like extreme taste, not just taste. In that level of ruchi, you can't stop. You can't stop chanting, or you can't stop doing devotion. You have so much taste. That's ruchi.
And the next, how is the reaction of the devotee about the person who judged them?
What should we think when someone judges you? Yeah?
No, is a general.
General,
question.
yeah, I'm saying also generally.
A person who maybe also between the devotees judge others very easily. I've seen so many times. How is the reaction? How you have to see what is the instruction from the big, very great devotees about this?
So if someone is judging someone, and if we are the third person, maybe we can try to glorify that person. So we become aware of his good qualities. Somehow judgment, all these are negative. They create a negative environment. And if we genuinely appreciate someone, that can change the environment. So if there is judgment going on too much, you just think of some good quality of that person and you genuinely glorify that good quality, then everyone will sense that, and the environment will change. Everyone will sense that you are sincerely glorifying this person, and they will also, their perception will also change. So we can try that. We can see a good quality in that person, and if possible, glorify that good quality.
Yeah, exactly. Between the devotees, we have to see the best quality from person. So seen, it's such a very bad habit. It's very, very easy. I've seen somebody in some community also. I've seen so many judge. It's very bad things. It's very easy to change their think because of maybe some people go inside and make some things about the person or make change to so sometimes it's very hard to change
Yeah.
because,
If there is judgment going on, you go out of that place. If you can't do anything, you just leave the place, and people will know that you don't want to get involved in this negative talk. If you can, you try to change the environment. If you cannot change the environment, just get out of that environment. That's the instruction. I think.
It's more a practical question. Like, let's say when we have non-devotees coming to the temple, let's say who are not associated with ISKCON on a regular basis, how do we, I mean, mostly the Sunday programs, right? So how do we, like, and if they're really good friends of mine, how do we make them, more into Krishna, connected with more into Krishna consciousness and ISKCON, and how do we, motivate them to, or inspire them, or if then they are good friends, and what kind of, like how do we interact with them, and what should we be, what is the thing that we should be most careful about when we interact with, non-devotees who are not associated with ISKCON, come to the temple every Sunday, and what to do about it.
Is this related in any way, or is something different you wanna?
No,
It's okay, but I was just trying to see if is it related? No.
I mean, it is somewhat related, because I see this like, what should we tell them? How do we help them so that they come more to Krishna consciousness? Or how do we, what exactly we should do? Should we glorify their positive side, or should we, actually criticize them? I mean, not criticize, more like tell them that, you can do something like this, like that. What should we do? Like more suggestions.
Yeah, I think the expert devotees, they have told us to just become friends with them, and when you are friends with them and you can relate to them, but only if they ask for help, then you correct them, otherwise you don't.
Even if they're really good friends of ours.
Yeah, it depends, of course, on your relationship, but we don't give advice to people who are not looking for advice.
Of course, between the devotees, sometimes they're ishtagoshi. It's very good ideas. Sometimes we have had, sometimes we can solve the problem, but sometimes I didn't see anymore, or maybe there's no good management, so somebody make angry as a result of the issue sometimes. So very hard to make open some things is in our mind. We cannot go out and to say. So it's stay at our mind and make automatically make pajalpan, make offense, and make karma. But didn't know make karma without any solving the problem. Staying at mind. So we would like to say where you are in the right way, but there's no way to. So I've seen in some community make a problem, big problem, as a result of the make delay to say something. Okay, after that, such as make explosion.
Yeah.
I've seen in some community. For example, many years ago in Sweden, yeah, that happened. The fighting,
Yeah. This material world is always tricky, you know. We all have this big horn, our ego, and when we move, we are always poking others with this horn, you know. It's our big ego. So, of course, and it's always difficult to work together. It's one of the most difficult things in this age is to work together. You know. So Srila Prabhupada, he advised that to develop friendship among devotees, you should sit and do kirtan together, at least 1 hour. This develops friendship, actually. Radhanath Maharaj would say, sitting in kirtan and dancing together develops companionship no other friend therapy can.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? So this is one of the best practical ways to develop nice relationship among devotees is we sit and together, all the people involved, we do kirtan together. And this can solve so many issues. He wrote in one letter, rather than resolution, dissolution and no solution, just sit and do kirtan. Yeah, so of course we need to manage properly and use intelligence and organize. But the main thing is the Sankirtan revolution is we sit and we chant Hare Krishna, and that brings about a lot of how do you say, friction, and a lot of misunderstanding can be resolved by just sitting and doing kirtan together. It helps. Of course, we need to talk and discuss also, but it really helps. I've also experienced this. When you sit with someone, a group of friends, and do kirtan together, it helps to bring down all the mental, you know, because when we are discussing, we are on the mental platform, you know. It's not beyond the mental platform, it's mode of passion.
Yeah.
Mostly mode of passion when we are doing this prajalpa and negative talks. But when we are in the kirtan and we start seeing everyone on beyond the mental platform and in mode of goodness.
So firstly, I observe this like whenever I'm chanting my rounds every day, and then so Krishna automatically arranges devotee friends and all of that. So whenever I'm interacting with devotees, the connection is very good, and it's very it's always nice. It's like it just flows. There's not so much of problems and interactions. It's very nice and friendly. But whenever it's with non-devotees, it feels like it doesn't flow. It's not as easy and joyful as when I interact with devotees. So how do I make? I don't even feel so productive when I talk with non-devotees. So how do I make sure that my interactions with non-devotees are also productive and they are also joyful and friendly, or how do we manage this?
Well, one way is to see everyone as devotees. They have just forgotten. Right? Everyone is Krishna conscious by nature. You can practice, try. It's difficult, but it can be done by practice, that you see everyone as part and parcel of Krishna and they are all devotees. And you relate to them in a way that they can appreciate at that point, but you also understand that everyone is Krishna's servant, everyone is spirit soul. It's not only their consciousness is a devotee or non-devotee, right?
So you should try to see everyone as devotees.
I mean, it's not artificially like that, but just think that pray to Krishna and see how you can
connect this person.
Yeah, connect this person, or how can you can just serve this person. When we are in the mood of service, wherever we go, then we can relate to people. In a mood of service, when we want to serve everyone, doesn't matter, devotee, non-devotee, we just want to serve. We just want to serve, bring, if possible, bring them closer to Krishna. That mood will help, I think, maybe. You can try and we can discuss if it helps.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
let's see. Okay.
So I heard, I wanted to share that one time, one Prabhuji, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, had written almost 4-5 pages of big letter with so many complaints. And at the end, he had written, "You are insignificant servant." And Prabhupada was replying to that letter. You had written a big letter and you mentioned as you are an insignificant servant. How an insignificant servant can see these many complaints and these many negative things?
Yeah.
And one more point is that you cannot be always like you can have some good relationship with someone. With someone you may not have that one. If you do not have very good relationship or something, keep a distance, respect them and leave.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You can't be friends with the whole world.
Yeah.
You can be you can be respectful to everyone, but you won't be good friends with the whole world. You saw certain people are in your wavelength, they will become good friends. Certain people are not in your wavelength, you respect them from distance. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Sorry for keeping you so long. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.